What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Lifted Civic Build. My name's Ben. I'm one of the digital media producers here at S3 Magazine. And I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce to you guys this week's sponsor, S1Built. I've been dying to tell you guys about this sponsorship with S1Built because they were actually our first sponsor of this build. We just didn't want to introduce them too soon because we didn't have any of their parts to install on the car until we got to the rear end of the build at this point. S1 has been excellent. Everything they have sent us is fantastic. So what these guys do is they make billet arms, forks, you name it, for all-wheel drive swaps. They supplied us with the rear trailing arms, lower control arms, and a billet diff mount for the back of this car. It is absolutely insane. We cannot wait to get it all finished mounted. So right now, it's mocked up in there right now. We're getting the car ready to mount the diff in the next week or two. These guys have been fantastic. We really appreciate their support, and they have been very big help since day one of this build. So thank you again to the guys at S1Built. If you guys are interested in doing an all-wheel drive swap on your EG, EK, Civics, let these guys know. They are excellent to work with, and they'll be able to get you situated into the right kit for your vehicle and your intended purpose. Like, these guys build high horsepower capable parts, 1,000+ horsepower all-wheel drive guys. This is what the drag racing guys are using on their cars. Really top-end quality stuff, all stainless, very, very high quality materials throughout. It's got Heim joints in the lower control arms and the forks, so nothing to wear out. It's all there and looks amazing. All the craftsmanship that went into these parts is just huge. So again, thank you to the guys at S1 for sponsoring this episode, sponsoring the car, and we can't wait to get everything finally installed once we get everything finished, mocked up, and get it out on the road. So yeah, I've been waiting to make that announcement for a solid 3.5 months now, since day one. So what S1 supplied us with is basically everything that we need for the rear end of the car, which is just incredible. Everything bolted up really well. We're actually using camber adjustments up top from HRG and the parts interchange. And since we're going with a lifted kit, this is kind of where we ran into some lost in translation a little bit, because these guys are used to drag race stuff. Everything's sitting further up inside the car to make it hunker down and go lower, whereas we're trying to make this thing go higher by a lot, at least 3 inches in the rear. That's what we're working towards. We got our sponsors over at HRG on the phone, and the owner, Ben, was super nice, and he went through with us on a video chat and was basically walking us through everything from what custom mounts we're gonna have to use to what we need to mock up first to make his parts work with their parts, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. So thanks again to him too. This has been a learning process all the way around, and it's really been a very nice, pleasing experience. While there's a lot of work, we're finally getting to the strong portion of this build, with a lot of very intense fab work. It's been very straightforward so far, and we can't thank our sponsors enough for cooperating with us and getting us everything that we need for this. Going into more depth as to what we've had to do so far to fit the arms and the LCAs and just everything that's in there right now, we had to drop the fuel tank out. It looked like, from what we could tell, just looking straight down the end of the car to the front, it was going to be very, very close to possibly fitting. but we did not want to risk it, and once we get the differential installed, it might not sit just exactly correct the way we need it to. Plus, it was in the way for getting one of these bars mounted. Let me show that to you. Okay, so this bar sits up into the chassis and has to be welded with these tabs, front and rear, to the car. And the reason they don't come pre-welded is that each one of these cars is individually unique, and some of them have 200,000+ miles on the body, others don't, or others have been jumped before. And anyway, there's a whole lot of variable in the way that this bar fits. So we're having to custom fit that with the plate that I was holding a minute ago to the diff and get it welded up into the car where the gas tank usually goes. So we've pulled the gas tank, and thanks to one of my friends, we've got a solution that is in the works for it. So we're really pleased about that. As far as the next steps goes, after we get the differential in there, we'll weld everything up. We'll await further parts coming from HRG to be able to space everything out as a lift kit. And we've got most of the parts here, and we've done some testing, and it looks like everything that they've sent us is gonna work so far. We're just waiting on a couple of custom pieces for the differential mount, and we're very excited to be testing those here in the near future to go along with this kit. So everything should bolt right up. On a completely separate note, our friend Casey came over, and he is a bodywork specialist. He is very skilled at his craft. Brought over a body gun, I don't know how to explain it, Bondo, everything that we need to get the body of this car straightened out. He actually got our trunk lid reset, showed us how to do proper Bondo on one of the doors. This car was pretty beat up when we bought it, and it still is very beat up, but once we get the final graphics on it, we'll be wrapping the car. That should hide a little bit of the imperfections, but I really was not happy with some of the parts on the car, and he kindly showed us exactly what to do, even did a good majority of the bodywork himself, just leaving us to do the Bondo for some of the minor dings and dents in the rest of the car. So I'm really excited about that. And Casey, if you're watching, thank you very much again for your help. It was very kind of you to come and help us with that today. Well, you guys, that'll about wrap it up here for this episode. Be sure you go follow Slightly Mangled on this build. He just uploaded a video this week of the whole process of getting everything dropped out of the rear end. It was very intense. We had to turn the car around, it flipped around, and yeah, he showed that process, edited and cut, and it really doesn't show exactly our entire struggle of getting this car just turned around with the engine and transmission in it, and the camber going all crazy because we didn't tighten down the front arms. That's our fault. But yeah, it's pretty hilarious. You should go watch that. It's a really interesting video. And if you're not already, be sure you're subscribed here to S3 Magazine's channel. We'd really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you like this video. It lets us know that you're watching this. It really helps us out with the algorithm and everything like that. So thanks again. We'll see you next week. Later.